Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Back here again with a ton to talk about here on Tuesday night, the final, maybe, live stream of the week with Christmas right around the corner. We got some new stuff to talk about, some old stuff to talk about from the weekend as well, more fallout from the DK Metcalf situation, and we got things to talk about that are happening right now as we speak. Right now, you will occasionally see me throughout the live stream here tonight. Glance off here to my right, the Pittsburgh Penguins in action right now against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So occasionally I will pop up this banner right here. The Penguins and Leafs going to head into the third period here in a matter of moments. In goal tonight for the Penguins, Stuart Skinner. For the Leafs, it is Joseph Woll. Stuart Skinner's 200th game in the NHL, just his third or fourth with the Penguins, I believe. The Penguins, they looked like they had the 1-0 lead early in the first period by Justin Brazeau, but it was called back for goaltender interference. William Nylander got the party going for Toronto with a breakaway goal on a nifty move. Brian Rust answered with a breakaway goal of himself to make it 1-1. Leafs player then threw a puck off the skate of Parker Wotherspoon and into the net behind Stuart Skinner. That made it 2-1 Leafs after one. Coming back from the second period that just wrapped up about 5 minutes ago, Steven Lorentz pickpocketing Erik Karlsson in the defensive zone. He skates down and scores on Skinner as well, but Rutger McGroarty was able to answer about midway through the second period with a snipe to make it 3-2. That is where the game currently stands right now. Leafs up 3-2. Sidney Crosby with an assist in this game. He just broke Mario Lemieux's Penguins points record a couple of nights ago. Crosby with an assist in this one already tonight, passing Adam Oates for NHL assists, sit up to 1,080 assists in his career. So congratulations to Sid. Hopefully the Penguins can stay red hot and keep things going here, continue their success that they had the other night, winning against the Montreal Canadiens in a shootout, breaking an 8-game losing streak. Hopefully they're able to come back against a Toronto team that has had their number so far this season. So we will occasionally pan over here and react to the Penguins game as it goes on live, give reactions to the final period, maybe overtime in a shootout. We'll see. But the things that we are going to be talking about most here tonight, starting in football here in a couple of moments, we will talk about Mike Tomlin's Tuesday press conference that happened earlier today. Tomlin talking about the game against the Lions, talking about the Steelers' upcoming matchup on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. That game could be for the division. And also Tomlin officially, after having about 48 hours to process what exactly happened, he weighed in on the DK Metcalf situation, the altercation with the fan, what Metcalf told Tomlin, and the suspension as well, which is still 2 games for Metcalf. Tomlin going into a little bit of what he said before we go fully in depth in his press conference. Apparently a hearing being held today for Metcalf's appeal of his 2-game suspension. I do not think we have heard anything yet on whether that suspension will be upheld or whether it will be knocked down by a game. So we'll start off the show here in a moment talking about Mike Tomlin's press conference. After that, the only other massive bit of news to talk about here tonight just happened actually a couple of hours ago, and we were live for it instantly when it happened. The the Pittsburgh Pirates signing first baseman and designated hitter Ryan O'Hearn to a 2-year contract. Some more reactions and talk about that. Some new information we got on that deal as well. We will break down. After that, we will get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news for the day and call it a night and head on into our holiday week with Christmas coming up here in 2 days. 8 of you in here already. Before we officially get the show started, if you are new here to the channel or new to this live stream, on your way in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Again, also leave a like on this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comment section, any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have. by all means, put those in the comments section. I enjoy interacting with you folks when you do. I can pop those up on screen at a moment's notice, just like this. Also, go give the channel a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR. And tune back in a little bit later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. To the comment section we go here to begin the live stream. Welcome back to Magic here. Glad to have you back, Magic. He's appealing it, but I'm sure he'll have to live with it, says Magic. I don't know, Magic, about Metcalf's appeal. We talked about that a little bit yesterday when the suspension was first handed down. If I had to guess, Lamar Jackson, people keep bringing up that situation from earlier in the year. The Ravens played the Bills. Lamar had an altercation with the fan where he pushed him back into his seat after a touchdown. Lamar didn't get anything for that. There's also something to be said about, the NFL didn't want to suspend one of their elite quarterbacks. But looking at the Lamar thing, that's pretty much the only thing we have to go off of precedent here. So Metcalf, I think one of the big things he has going for him in this appeal here is that, let's just say hypothetically, the Ravens somehow beat the Green Bay Packers and the Steelers lose to the Browns on Saturday. That, I believe, will put the NFL in a tough spot because they will have one of the top wide receivers suspended for one of the biggest games of the year that could decide the winner of the AFC North. I don't think the NFL is going to want to have any doing in the outcome of that game by keeping Metcalf suspended. So I think that gives you hope that it'll get rescinded to one. Also, I think, Steelers and the team and Metcalf and the fans could have some say saying, hey, you want to suspend him for the Browns game? You know what? Fine. Chances are that the Ravens are either going to lose or we're going to beat the 3-11 Browns, and Metcalf is going to be sitting the final game of the year anyway because it does not matter. So I think they'll knock it down to one because most likely Metcalf is going to sit 2 games anyway because of the Steelers. They're going to be, hopefully, with a win or a Ravens loss, going to be sitting people against the Ravens in Week 18. So more thoughts on the Metcalf situation, some more information on that and Tomlin's reaction coming up here in a moment. Also, we got another commenter in here, Mean Green. Welcome, Mean Green. I was going to save this for the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment later on in the program, but since you bring it up right now, we will talk about it. Happy Immaculate Reception anniversary to all of you who celebrate today, 53 years ago, just like Mean Green says. Franco Harris catching that iconic fluttering football that came off of a collision where Frenchie Fuqua was a part of it. Franco scoops it up just before it hits the ground and runs it into the end zone for the Steelers to beat the Raiders. That 53 years ago. Also, we're pushing, 4 years ago, maybe something like that. 3 or 4 years ago since we've lost Franco Harris. So definitely thinking about Franco and the Immaculate Reception, a play where who knows where the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the history of the NFL. Do they become the Pittsburgh Steelers, this legendary franchise with the most Super Bowl wins among any franchise? Without that play, I don't know, but very thankful for Franco, and we definitely remember him and that greatest play, one of the greatest, if not the greatest plays in NFL history today. Another comment here from Magic before we get going here on the show tonight. Jaylen Warren, the most yards of any back this week with only 14 carries. That is crazy. Yeah, we're going to be bringing up some more stats that have come out over the past 24 hours on that game and some of the more recent games for the Steelers. Jaylen Warren, 14 carries. He and Kenneth Gainwell combining for over 250 yards total. I think Warren on those 14 carries had 145 yards or something on the ground. I forget exactly what total ground yards he had, but he was averaging, I think, 10.2 or 10.5 yards per carry was Warren. To be for a run to be counted as an explosive play, it has to go over 10 yards. So on his yards per carry, Jaylen Warren, every time he touched the ball, was averaging an explosive play. So yeah, Warren hell of a game from him. Kenneth Gainwell, same thing. Those guys, the number 1 and 2 stars. You know what? Screw it. They might be 1A and 1B star of the game from Sunday against Detroit. Another comment here from Gunnar Yazzie. What was your favorite catch in recent Steelers history? Gainwell or Bryant's catch through the legs? Would recent history count as going back to Santonio Holmes' catch in the Super Bowl? I mean, that one would probably be it, just the overall scale of the moment in the Super Bowl. Martavis Bryant's catch, that was nice. You had the Antonio Brown catch against the helmet. That one was pretty nice. You got to go back a couple of years when George Pickens was a rookie. He had that, speaking of the Steelers playing the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, George Pickens had that insane catch where the ball was like over his head and to the right, and he somehow put his arm out there like that and made the catch. There are some crazy catches in Steelers history, and Gainwell, he certainly entered that conversation with that catch that resulted in a touchdown too, so he gets a little bit of extra credit for that one as well. But yeah, tons of good catches in recent Steelers history. Thank you for the comment and question there, Gunnar. 10 of you in here right now. Let's officially get the show going here. And looking off to my right here, apparently the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have tied the game. Let me go here to ESPN, see what exactly happened. You're going to occasionally see me peering off here to the right. The Penguins, it is Anthony Mantha with the goal, his 11th of the season. Assists to Parker Wotherspoon and Justin Brazeau. So the Penguins, less than 2 minutes into this hockey game, have tied it at 3. We will keep an eye on this game. Sick jersey matchup too, as well, for this Penguins Leafs game. Toronto in their traditional home blues, but the Penguins, not their road whites tonight. They are going with those new all yellow alternate jerseys that they have debuted this year. So we will occasionally look over here to the screen, keep track on this game. Let's get the show officially started now. Mike Tomlin, his annual Tuesday press conference on the south side of Pittsburgh took place today. I'm sure tons of people wanted to hear what he had to say after that fantastic Steelers win over the Detroit Lions. And also Tomlin, after the game on Sunday against Detroit, sort of went the no comment route on the whole DK Metcalf situation because he had not gotten all of the information on that. Today, we got more from Tomlin on that game, the Browns game coming up, and Metcalf. Tomlin started off his press conference today pointing out the critical drive right before halftime for the Pittsburgh Steelers as the turning point in the game for the black and gold. Of course, on that drive was Kenny Gainwell's miraculous catch that resulted in a touchdown, but also Tomlin made sure to bring up the third down conversions that they had with Adam Thielen and Scotty Miller playing key roles in those. Overall, Tomlin just said that the guys on his team did not blink in the face of adversity, and they cut their eyelids off. So 2 Tomlin-isms right there. And one onto the injury front for Tomlin today in his press conference. Of course, the big one, TJ Watt. Tomlin again saying there is no new update on TJ. The last sort of update we got on Watt was over the weekend from Adam Schefter, who said Watt is still focusing on getting back healthy and getting back into football shape. That is secondary right now. Some other injury updates Tomlin did provide, though. James Pierre, he worked out this morning at the team facility. He is going to be questionable to start the week, and he'll probably be questionable heading into the Browns game. Isaac Seumalo dealing with a tricep injury, left guard for the Steelers. There's no new update on him as well. Tomlin did give some optimism on the Nick Herbig front. Herbig missing with a hamstring injury, I believe, against the Lions. Herbig, he is optimistic to play per Tomlin. Brandon Echols, who left the Lions game with a groin injury, he is, like James Pierre, going to be questionable to start the week, and I bet will be questionable heading into the weekend as well. The last 2 guys that Tomlin brought up on the injury front today, 2 other guys who suffered injuries against the Lions, Jaylen Warren and Spencer Anderson. I forget what Tomlin mentioned as the injuries
for each of those gentlemen, but both will be limited to start the week, but he is optimistic both will get over whatever minor ailments they have and will play in Cleveland. On to the Browns themselves. Tomlin with some praiseful things to say about them. First off, said that Steelers, they are not going to be treating this Cleveland Browns game like it is some walk in the park here. Even though the Browns are 3-11, the Steelers, they, for some reason, have had Cleveland as a house of horrors recently. They are on a 2 or 3 game losing streak in Cleveland, are the Steelers. And Tomlin said that this game, if the Steelers were to win that game, it would be massive for them moving forward. His quote here, "At the doorstep of winning the division, I don't take this opportunity lightly. Divisions are won on the road in hostile environments, and this game against Cleveland, even though they are 3-11, not only is it a division game, and the Browns would love to play spoiler, it will be hostile because fans are going to be behind number 95 in brown and orange." Tomlin making sure to bring up Mr. Garrett, as he calls Myles Garrett, a slam dunk defensive player of the year who is on the doorstep of history, just a half a sack away from tying TJ Watt and Michael Strahan's single season sack record. He is 1 full sack away from breaking it. So Tomlin being sure to wax poetic about Garrett on a Tuesday, and I'm sure he will do that for his entire team leading into the game on Sunday. Tomlin also gave praise to Carson Schwessinger, rookie out of UCLA, for the Browns. That rookie linebacker, Tomlin says, is a slam dunk to win defensive rookie of the year as well. Over to the offensive side of the ball, Tomlin, just a little bit of talk about Shedeur Sanders, said he is doing a really good job. Tomlin, I think, being very careful in what he says about Shedeur because the Steelers were one of the favorites to draft Shedeur back during the draft. Tomlin did say, though, and I agree with him on this, that it is very unfortunate the Steelers will not get to see running back Quinshon Judkins again, who seriously hurt his leg. Tomlin said that he is sending well wishes to him. I echo that sentiment. Then we got on to the main event of the Tomlin press conference today, him talking about the DK Metcalf situation, the altercation with the fan that led to his 2-game suspension that was handed down yesterday. Tomlin today talking about Metcalf said, quote, "He did explain to me why he did what he did. I don't condone the behavior, but I support DK." Those Tomlin's words right there. You can see the quote right there in big font on the banner on your screen right now. Tomlin also said that the appeal for Metcalf's suspension was to be held this afternoon. We have not gotten any new update on that appeal yet. I have not seen anything. If you guys see anything on the appeal in the meantime during tonight's live stream, please fill me in the comments section. But Tomlin, beyond that, saying that he didn't condone the behavior, but that he supports DK Metcalf. That's all the further he went. Said that he didn't want to weigh in anymore on the situation because there might be legal ramifications. We already know that the fan in this altercation has an attorney that has been releasing statements denying the claims that Metcalf put on the fan, saying that the fan used derogatory slurs towards Metcalf and his mother. We actually got a little bit more information on the situation than what we already know. There's a new video circulating that people are making a big fuss about of the fan after Metcalf came over, did the punching gesture. There's a video now circulating about, I'd say, 5 or 6 rows behind the fan, where the fan, after getting into that fracas with Metcalf, he takes his shirt off, and then he can be heard on the video saying that was the goal. So you talk about this whole appeal and hearing thing going on. It seems every few hours we are getting a new piece of information on the situation. I wonder if, this fan now being heard on video saying that was the goal, to get into that physical altercation with Metcalf, if that plays a factor in the appeal or not. So definitely from that view there, definitely changes your viewpoint a little bit, thinking that the fan intentionally wanted Metcalf to do this. We did also learn that Metcalf, he is at stake of losing way more money than what he will lose in his 2 games he is suspended. Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports, he came out with this piece of information late last night saying that Metcalf's guarantees in his contract could be null and void. His exact quote here from Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports: his 4-year, $132 million contract from March, reviewed by CBS Sports, notes that, quote, if he fails to practice or play with the club for any reason, which includes player suspension by the NFL or club for conduct detrimental, his guarantees will be null and void. So if upheld, DK Metcalf's suspension would not only cost him around $555,000 in 2 game checks, it could also void $45 million in future guarantees. That will be $25 million fully guaranteed in 2026 and $20 guaranteed in 2027. So this whole situation could be costing Metcalf generations worth of wealth should this suspension be upheld, and should the Steelers continue to go by the language in the contract there. They could be getting back a whole lot of money that they were guaranteed to pay to DK Metcalf. We will see what comes of that. Tomlin further on the Metcalf situation today. He was asked about what could, or Metcalf was, or Tom was asked what he sees in Metcalf day to day. Just typical questions, I think, to get out there what Tomlin's general feels are on his top wide receiver. Tomlin saying he cares, he works hard, he's a heck of a guy. That's why he's easy to support. Tomlin was also asked about potentially not having Metcalf, what that could do to the wide receiver room and the offense. Tomlin said you could waste a lot of time thinking about those hypotheticals, but it's his job to get ready the guys who are available. Tomlin also made sure to point out that one guy's misfortune is another guy's opportunity. So he is definitely, doesn't matter if it is Metcalf or just a 4th or 5th guy on the depth chart. It is next man up mentality. Was adamant in pointing out, I should say, Roman Wilson, who will most likely come back into active duty on game day. So that is the latest on the Metcalf situation. There's a new video out there where the fan says, quote, that was the goal. Metcalf could be losing $45 million in future guarantees because of this, and Tomlin not condoning the actions, but supporting Metcalf right now. And that is all we are going to get out of the Steelers head coach as of right now. Just the last couple of things from Tomlin's press conference, some loose end notes from him. He did confirm that should the Ravens lose to the Green Bay Packers on Saturday before the Steelers play the Browns on Sunday, and that loss for the Ravens would clinch the Steelers their playoff spot, Tomlin was clear in saying that the game plan could change for some players on Sunday, but he hasn't made any specific plans there. So should the Ravens lose on Saturday night, we may be looking at a Mason Rudolph type game against the Browns. Maybe see Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey, some other guys sit as well. So we will definitely watch with close intent the Ravens and Packers game on Saturday. Tomlin also chimed in one more time in the Q&A portion of his program, saying that with Myles Garrett, Dylan Cook definitely will get help with Garrett. Cook has been playing phenomenally over the past couple of games, but Tomlin said everyone gets help against Myles Garrett. He even watched Trent Williams tape for the 49ers, and he got help as well, though you might not stop the bomb from going off. Those are Tomlin's words. So the Steelers definitely going to be diverting extra attention and then some towards Myles Garrett. The last thing Tomlin said back to the TJ Watt recovery situation, Tomlin said it's fair to estimate that Watt has recovered from the procedure, but is working back into football shape. He does not know if Watt will return to practice this week, but he said Watt will likely talk with the media and officially be heard from for the first time since this injury coming up at some point this week. So that is the latest in Steelers land, ladies and gentlemen. Tomlin's press conference talking about Metcalf, the Cleveland Browns, TJ Watt, and the Detroit Lions game. Any thoughts, questions, opinions that you have on that, please get them in the comment section right now. Back to the comment section we go before we switch gears here over to some baseball as we continue to look over here at the Penguins game. Gunner here, depending how the Ravens do against Green Bay with Willis at quarterback, Steelers should rest most of the starters until playoffs. If Green Bay does do their thing against the Ravens, could I see maybe some guys starting the game against the Browns for the Steelers? I could maybe to, just keep a good rhythm going of what they've done in recent weeks. But I think by halftime, if the Steelers do have the division locked up before Sunday, I think at least by halftime on Sunday, you will see a bunch of backups in the game there and not much beyond that from starters. And then have fun with the Will Howard, Caleb Johnson, and Roman Wilson Bowl in Week 18 against the Ravens, because even if the Steelers continue to, even if the Steelers do put up get the division lead and win it, I don't think they're gonna jump anybody else in terms of playoff seeding right now. So yeah, I do agree with that, Gunner. You could see a ton of guys get some rest until playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, I think, would be the most important among them. 8 of you in here right now. Welcome in to the live stream right now. Looks like over here, the Toronto Maple Leafs were on a power play, but now Matias Maccelli for Toronto is going to head off to the penalty box for a slash. So I believe we are going to get some 4-on-4 hockey over here to my right. Second time today in this game that there's been 4-on-4 hockey. At the end of the first period, there was a bit of a scrum. Ooh, as my headset falls off there. During the end of the first period, there was a scrum where Maccelli, I believe, or no, it was Bobby McMahon. McMahon and Chris Letang went off to the penalty box together. So we will continue to keep an eye on this game. 10:19 left to go. Still tied at 3 apiece. John Tavares and Ben Kindle on that face-off. Going to switch up gears right now, ladies and gentlemen. Going to go back to something that just happened a few hours ago. The Pittsburgh Pirates making their second or third, depending on how you view Gregory Soto, but at least in terms of getting a bat, the Pirates making their second big splash move of the offseason today. The Bucs, according to Robert Murray, who does work for Fansided, MLB Insider, the first to report that the Pirates have signed first baseman, right fielder, and designated hitter Ryan O'Hearn to a 2-year, $29 million contract. The Bucs adding another big bat with power to their lineup. Just some more information and talk about this move other than what we spoke earlier on the breaking news live stream. O'Hearn, 2-year, $29 million deal, does include $500,000 in performance bonuses. Those performance bonuses were clarified by Colin Beasley of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. O'Hearn, he will get $100,000 in bonuses for 450 plate appearances this season. 475 plate appearances, he'll get an additional $100,000. And then once he reaches 500 and 525 plate appearances, respectfully, he'll get an extra $150 million or extra $150,000 each time he hits those marks. So 100,000 if he gets 450 plate appearences, another 100 at 475, 150 on top of that 200 at 500 plate appearances, and then he'll get a final $150,000 at 525 plate appearances. Looking over here in the meantime at this Penguins game, apparently a penalty was taken by the Pens a moment ago. Now the Leafs are on a 4-on-3 power play, so not good for the Penguins in the discipline department today. More on the O'Hearn signing from earlier. We mentioned O'Hearn's stats last year: 474 plate appearances over his season, played for 2 teams, started the year with the Baltimore Orioles, then was traded at the deadline, the trade deadline, to the San Diego Padres. Last year in total for O'Hearn, a 281 batting average, 17 home runs, 63 RBIs, and 803 OPS. Those numbers probably would have been near the top of the Pittsburgh Pirates because the offense was just that terrible last year. So O'Hearn, his 17 home runs, that batting average, definitely a welcome sight here to the Pirates lineup. O'Hearn, he is the first multi-year free agent contract that the Pirates have signed a player to since Ivan Nova back in December of 2016. Nova back then signing a 3-year, $26 million deal. So O'Hearn making some history there. And kudos. We criticize the Pirates front office a bunch here on the channel. Ben Sherrington, Bob Nutting, I think, gets most of it, most of the time here. But you got to give credit when credit is due. To Travis Williams, Pirates president, to Ben Sherrington, Pirates general manager. Those guys, during the infant stages of the offseason, were talking about how talk is cheap and they have got to execute better than they ever have before. And by God, they are executing better than what we have seen them at any point during their first 5 to 6 years on the job here in Pittsburgh. So far, their offseason additions now come out to Gregory Soto, who's a free agent left-handed relief pitcher they brought in on a 1-year, $10 million deal a few weeks ago. They also brought in Justinson Garcia via trade with the Boston Red Sox. They brought in Brandon Lau, Jake Mangum, and Mason Montgomery from the Tampa Bay Rays just last week in a trade. Lau, the headliner, with 31 home runs in that deal. And then now, Ryan O'Hearn. So the Pirates now, that brings their offseason additions to 6, I believe, Major League ready contributing players. Good stuff from them. Lau, an all-star. O'Hearn, an all-star last year as well. Soto, former 2-time all-star. Garcia, top 100 prospect. Some great value that the Pirates have given up or have acquired so far this offseason. And dare I say, they haven't given up a whole lot to get these players as well. Trade-wise, they've only given up really just 2 bottom of the rotation pitchers that were expendable, and the contracts that they've signed O'Hearn and Soto and some others to, they have been very reasonable, contracts that are not an overpay, in my opinion. So love that stuff from the Pirates. Interested to see what they do moving forward. They do now have an opening day projected starting lineup, if I have to guess, where you'll see Spencer Horwitz at first base, Brandon Lau at second, shortstop. You'll get Connor Griffin. Third base, though, that is the big hole, I would say, left in the Pirates lineup. We shall see there. Right now, it's currently occupied by Jared Triolo. Maybe you can slide Nick Gonzalez over that way as well, but Kazuma Okamoto, Eugenio Suarez, 2 third basemen that have been linked to the Pirates over the past couple of weeks. I would love to get one of those guys. I like Suarez. Okamoto, I'm cool with as well. He, per John Heyman and Ken Rosenthal, over the past 24 hours has been mentioned to the Pirates a ton. So definitely looking forward to the Pirates. They got their 2 impact left-handed bats that they needed to get this offseason Do they have that third and final right-handed bat in them? Let's hope so. Good start for Cherington and the Bucs front office this offseason. Let's see if they can bring it home. All right, ladies and gentlemen, about to get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the evening, and then we will sign off for potentially the rest of the week with the holiday around the corner. One more thing on that whole Ryan O'Hearn signing today. People have been speculating, where he slots into the Bucs lineup. Could he be the opening day DH? I think that's what fits most likely for him. But if he were to play the field, hypothetically, if he goes to first base, what does that do with Spencer Horwitz? Does Horwitz become the DH, or does he, play some second base that he played a few games at last year? If that happens, what happens with Nick Gonzalez? Does he start the year at shortstop in place of Connor Griffin? Does he platoon at third base with Jared Triolo or someone else they bring in? Tons of, defensive deployment questions here for the Pirates heading into the season. But hey, better to have too many players to, try to fit into the lineup. Too many good players than not enough. So I will take that. Also, I said earlier that, O'Hearn being the DH may shut the door on Andrew McCutchen. I'll walk that back a little bit. I put it as unlikely, but am I going to say it's impossible for Andrew McCutchen to make a return to the Pirates? I am going to not put that at 0. I do think they might bring back Kutch as a guy who, can be a bench guy, come in off the bench in a pinch hit spot, use him more sparingly than what you did in the past. So not going to leave out an Andrew McCutchen return at all here. Want to walk that back from earlier. Okay, 7 of you in here right now. On your way in, please hit subscribe here on the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section what you think about anything going on in Pittsburgh sports right now. Anything with the DK Metcalf situation. Keep it clean, though. Anything with the Pirates edition today or the Pittsburgh Penguins game currently ongoing here to my right. I believe about 6 minutes left to go in that game. The Leafs did score on that power play opportunity they had. So the Penguins, again, penalty trouble, biting them in the rear end. The Leafs now up 4-3 here with 5:44 exactly left to go here in the third period. Got to wonder when Stuart Skinner is going to be heading off to the bench here for an extra attacker here in a moment. We'll keep an eye on that. Going back here to the old Twitter timeline, seeing if there's anything new going on. Seeing a ton of people bring up more names on Twitter right now who the Pirates could go after. Third base, Suarez, Okamoto, some guys who are not third basemen that could also be options for the Penguins. Luis Robert Jr., outfielder, or for the Pirates. Luis Robert Jr., he outfielder for the Chicago White Sox, could be getting traded from there. Plays center field, but could you convince him maybe to go to left, and you don't need to have a competition between Jake Mangum or Justinson Garcia? That would be a nice addition. Marcell Ozuna as well, if you want to get a for sure hardcore designated hitter. Ozuna fits that bill coming from the Braves. Looking here, seeing if there's anything new. Not heard anything on the DK Metcalf suspension yet today. So no word on the appeal if he is going to be getting his suspension reduced or upheld. We shall see. We got some new Pittsburgh Steelers news in general here. I will start with the Steelers in the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment here in a moment. Steelers today hosting a bunch of players at the practice facility some players I've never heard of or barely have heard of before. I mean, these guys all seem like young guys, could be for potential of reserve future contract purposes. I think the guy that I know the most about here, Keandre Coburn, nose tackle who came out of the draft out of Texas a couple of years ago. Other than that, not really knowing some other guys on here. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, going to kick off the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment of the day, like I said, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before we do that, Concepts coming in here. Hope everyone is doing well. Not feeling the best, but had to tune in. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Welcome in, Concepts. I hope you do feel better if you are going through some sort of illness right now. Not feeling good around the holidays. That does suck twice as bad as any other day. So thoughts, prayers with you, Concepts. Hope you feel better. Hope everyone watching this right now has a very Merry Christmas. Like I said, going to start with the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the day. For your Pittsburgh Steelers, we talked about it to open up the show. Happy Immaculate Reception anniversary to all of you who celebrate. 53 years ago again. 53 years ago today, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, changing the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League as a whole. Quite honestly, that play still highlighted in our minds this evening. Also, a cool thing, speaking of Franco Harris, the Heinz History Center, they announced today that the Western Pennsylvania Sports Museum will be renamed the Franco Harris Sports Museum in honor of Franco Harris. That was announced today. Cool stuff there from them. Some other stuff with the Steelers today. Congratulations are in order for Ben Skoranek, Jalen Ramsey, and TJ Watt. Those three gentlemen getting Pro Bowl nods. They will be representing the black and gold in the Pro Bowl. Really, if we want to, be honest and get down to, who really deserves it here, Ben Skoranek. I mean, he has been an absolute wizard on special teams for the Steelers this season. He was first in Pro Bowl voting for special teams for the past couple of weeks now, and he earned every single vote with the way he's been on special teams this year. TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, though. Ramsey, yeah, you can see him getting a Pro Bowl a little bit. He has been pretty solid as a safety since being moved back there full time, but still tells you how much of a popularity contest the Pro Bowl is. TJ Watt, by Watt standards, having a decent year, but not a TJ Watt elite $41 million type of year. He was third in Pro Bowl voting and gets there again this season. So congratulations to those three men. Some more stats from that Detroit Lions game back on Sunday, and stats over the past couple of games. The ground game, Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, 230 rushing yards for those two gentlemen. That is the most by the Steelers offense since 2016. So you are going back to the last time that this team had a team that was competitive in a playoff game. That was the last time that the Steelers have had an rushing output of that size. Congratulations to Gainwell and Warren. Also, congratulations for Joey Porter Jr. We talked about him yesterday, how he was locked down against the Lions and was locked down over his past stretch of games. 7 games now. The last 7 games for Joey Porter Jr. He, on 20 targets, has allowed 7 completions for 93 yards, 0 touchdowns, a QB rating of 50.6, but most importantly, just 2 penalties in the last 7 games when the ball thrown his way for Joey Porter Jr. Excellent stuff from 24 in black and gold, turning into the guy that we thought he would be. And now he is pretty much a lock to get a big boy contract at the end of the season. The last few things here relating to the Steelers. Happy birthday today to legendary Steelers linebacker Jack Ham. Love Jack Ham. Has some history with my neck of the woods where I live. One of my favorite Steelers from the past that I never got the opportunity to watch. And also the last thing for the day relating to the Steelers, playing the Browns coming up this weekend. The Browns today, their head coach Kevin Stefanski announcing that quarterback Deshaun Watson will not be activated this season. So Watson will miss the entire year with his Achilles injury, and puts the Browns in an interesting spot next year with Shadur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel and Watson now going to be healthy, I assume, for the beginning of next season. Going to pause the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for a moment and focus my attention. Well, never mind. I was going to say focus my attention over here to the hockey game because the Pittsburgh Penguins had the goaltender pulled with around 2.5 minutes left trying to tie the hockey game. But as I pan over, Bobby McMahon just somehow untouched went in on the empty net and scored. So the score here for the Penguins and Leafs, it is 5-3 in favor of Toronto. And yep, the Penguins lost possession in their own end of the ice. Bank pass out to center. McMahon skates up to it, catches it, and puts it in. So the Penguins most likely going to lose this hockey game, maybe by the final score of 5-3. If I had to guess, they'll try to get the goaltender out one more time here in the final 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the day. Just 2 extra Pittsburgh Pirates stories for this evening, other than signing Ryan O'Hearn. Today, the Pirates announcing 7 non-roster invitees for their 2026 Major League camp. Some of these guys we've mentioned here on the channel before. Some of them maybe not as much. Right-handed pitcher Beau Burrows, left-handed pitcher Joe LaSorsa, left-handed pitcher Odainer Mosqueda, right-handed pitcher Noah Murdoch, outfielder Dominic Fletcher, outfielder Ronnie Simon, and infielder Davis Wetzel. Those 7 players getting non-roster invitees on minor league deals to the Pirates 2026 spring training camp. So congratulations to those guys. Usually it feels like there's every year at least one guy who's a non-roster invitee that ends up showing up and showing out and earning themselves a 40-man roster spot. Be interested to see if any of those guys do that. The last extra Pirate news story here for today, we go down south to Tampa Bay. This not relating to the Pirates trade, getting Brandon Lau and some other players from the Rays. Instead, former Pirate outfielder and one of my favorite random Pirate players, I believe I have his jersey in my closet just outside of this room, Corey Dickerson, former Buccos outfielder. He joining the Tampa Bay Rays coaching staff as first base coach for this upcoming season. So congratulations to Corey Dickerson. And to wrap up the extra Pittsburgh Penguins news for the day here, as on cue, the Maple Leafs score another empty net goal here to my right. This from Pierre LeBrun, NHL insider for TSN and Hockey Night in Canada. Unsurprisingly, former Penguins legendary goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury, who just retired, had a farewell retirement game, preseason game a couple of months ago with the Pens. Fleury getting calls from teams competing for playoffs, seeing if he would consider at all playing again. Not something that we should be surprised at. I think we all knew that this was going to happen, but should it or will it happen? I do not think so. I don't think Fleury, after doing that whole farewell tour with the Pens, would, go back to playing after having that very emotional farewell with his old teammates. So we'll see. I'm sure Fleury has the itch to continue playing, but will he go back? Wonder if that whole farewell thing he had with the Penguins plays into it. I don't think Fleury will play. I at least hope not. Just retire a pen and leave it at that. And think that is going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Looking over here to the right, clock stopped at 44.5 seconds. The Pens a little bit away from losing this one to the Leafs. Looks like Tyler Bertuzzi for the Leafs is going to the penalty box for a cross check. So he taking some frustrations out to end the night. One last look here at Twitter, seeing if we have any last pieces of news before we log off for the evening. DK Metcalf has officially been placed on the reserve suspended list by the NFL commissioner. So he's officially off the Steelers' 53-man active roster. It'll be interesting to see who they fill that roster spot with in the meantime. No word yet on if Metcalf's suspension has been reduced or upheld. So we will probably be talking about that between now and when we are live back here on Sunday for Steelers versus Browns. And I think that is going to do it for tonight's live streams, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for stopping by. There we go over there to my right. Final score: Leafs 6, Penguins 3. So the Pens, after breaking their 8-game losing streak with a shootout win a couple nights ago against the Montreal Canadiens, they fall in this one to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs, I believe, sweeping the season series against the Pens. So that sucks, but hey, high vibes right now around the Pittsburgh Pirates, and also minus the DK Metcalf situation around the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. Hopefully they are able to lock up the division one way or another this weekend. That's going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. On your way out, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Up to 672 subscribers on the channel. We've gained, I think, at least 5 more subscribers here today with the breaking Ryan O'Hearn to the Pirates news, helping out with that. So thank you to all of you who subscribed here today. 2 of them that I got a notification for by name, Roger Bendinelli and Warrior JWR. Thank you 2 for subscribing out of the 5 that did so. I appreciate you all. Also on your way out, like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comments section. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and tune back in a little bit later tonight for SCSR60. That is going to do it for tonight. No content planned here on the channel for tomorrow or Thursday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. The channel will be off, as should all of you. Please spend time with your families during this holiday season. Friday on the channel, we will leave up in the air to see if there will be any live stream that day. If there's any big news to talk about, we'll be live Friday night. But right now, leaving it TBD. We will see if there will be anything going on Friday, the day after Christmas. So with that, thank you all. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night. Back here maybe on Friday, back here definitely on Sunday for Steelers versus Browns. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all of you here on the channel. Enjoy the holiday break. Merry Christmas. Peace out. See you back here again later.